The DA had been working Bones over for weeks, first threatening, then cajoling, then shaming until the dim-witted monster was ready to play bargain his soul down the route of a lethal injection. Everything in life came down to cutting deals, even justice. All rise for the Honorable Judge Jackson. Court is now in session. A whoosh fell over the room as a small door midday along the rear walls swung open. The judge emerged from his chambers, brushing the last vestiges of lunch from his back robes. Hunter watched as he waddled to the bench, an aging, rotund man with a well-groomed beard and a tendency towards pomposity. He nodded once to the members of the jury, then nodded once more to the bailiff and court stenographer as he settled his ample romp into his seat. After a brief shuffling of papers, he addressed the court. Case number 922, The People versus Carlos Montero, is now resumed. The charge is murder in the first degree, filed under Section 189 of the Californian Penal Code. Are the people ready to call their next witness? Yes, Your Honor. The lead prosecutor, a stick insect who went by the name of Vedic, replied. The people called Bones. Hunter's heart rate accelerated a notch as Bones was led to the witness stand. He was huge, a bull of a man, towering over the guard alongside him and somehow wedged into a nasty checked suit. His drunk hair, that is brown, was cut in no discriminable style. 3 days' worth of stubble sprouted from his staggy jaws, and his eyes jumped nervously around the room, looking everywhere except at a different table. Hunter tensed up. Talk about mixed feelings. Part of him wanted to leap up and go throttle the sleazebag, while another part wanted to offer a round of applause. He tried to focus on the greater good. Bones' testimony was going to send Montero down. The play bargain meant they get 2 sleazebags for the price of 1. It was a start. Bones arrived at the stand, shoehorned his fat ass into the seat, and stared sturdily at the floor. Heavy beads of perspiration ran down his forehead. He wiped them off with the back of his arm. Please state your name and spell your last name for the records. He had to lean forward to reach the microphone. Bones, Bones, in marked contrast to his great size. His voice was high and squeaky, as if his balls were in a vice, which metaphorically they were. Your full name, please, prompted the bailiff, failing to hide the note of impatience on his voice. Bones is my full name. Got it changed. All legal and proper. Some sniggers ran out from the public gallery. The bailiff elected to move on. Please place your hand on the Bible. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So, help you God. Your Vidic approached the stand with something like a slogan, his confidence finally on the rise. After weeks of getting the run around from Rebecca Finch, he was about to strike a blow for truth, justice, and the American way. He favored the jurors with his most charming smile, then turned to begin the questioning. The courtroom went deathly silent. Hunter leaned forward in his seat and set up a prayer for little Julie Dermer and the six other murdered children. Mr. Bones, began Vittich, how long have you known the defendant Carlos Montero? About 3 years. Bones muttered at his scuffed black boots. Mr. Bones, please direct your answers into the microphone stationed directly in front of you. Judge Jackson cut in and initiated in a clear fashion. I can assure you that the court is very interested in what you have to say. The giant shoved forward in his seat and adjusted the microphone, raised his head until he was looking straight at Montero, a mixture of damn fear and pure hatred burning in his eyes. A vein started to jump in his forehead. His first clenched on the sand, then he looked away. Once again, Mr. Burns continued very, walking gladly up and down in front of the jury. Can you confirm that you have been a friend of the defendant, Mr. Carlos Montero, for the past 3 years? Yeah, he used to be my buddy. And how did you first meet? At Coco's Strip Club. He bought me a beer. But Coco's wasn't just any strip club, was it, Mr. Burns? Didn't their dancers tend to be a little on the young side? So much so that the bar was busted 14 times in a 3 month period before the police finally shut it down? Objection, backed Rebecca Finch. Assumes facts, not in evidence. The witness is not privy to police records. I'll make an offer on proof on the string of violation that Coco's strip bar committed. Your Honor, responded Vic. In the course of this trial, you'll hear testimony from an LAPD detective who will confirm that the bar was shut down 14 times in 3 months prior to its closure on June 10th of this year. I'll allow it, rumbled Judge Jackson. So once again, Mr. Bones, was the dancer at Coco's Club underage? If you say so, I do say so, Mr. Bones, as I want everyone present to realize what sort of a strip bar we're talking about here. Vidit broke off and shuffled through some paper. After your first meeting with Mr. Montero, how often did you subsequently meet at Coco's? Once, maybe twice a week, till it got shut down. And what was the main topic of conversation during your meetings? Montero did most of the talking. Told me he was a filmmaker, a real big shot. Asked me if I wanted to be in one of his movies, said I had star quality. What sort of movies are we talking about here, Mr. Bones? Hollywood action flicks, literary adaptations, romantic comedies. No hardcore porn. He wanted to know how big my schlong was, made me show it to him in the journal. Thank you for sharing that tender moment with us, Mr. Burns, muttered Vidic, with all the distress he could muster. So Montero movies weren't the sort you could get from a local rental shop. They were, in fact, only available to those in the know, under the counter, that sort of deal. I guess. Bones shrugged his huge shoulders in tourist agreement, causing the flag on his chest to wobble. Vadik walked back to his table, collected another sheaf of papers, studied them for a few moments, then returned to his position in front of the witness stand. I have in my hand your sworn confession. My Bones, he began, holding the papers high to draw attention to them. In these second statements, you admit to the abduction of 7 children in an unmarked white bonnet truck. You admit to their subsequent rape and murder of those 7 children, and you admit to disposing of their bodies in back alley dumpsters. Evo, I'm sorry for what I done. I'm gonna get me some help. Hunter swear it was too damn late for contrition. Way too late for those poor kids. But it wasn't you that chose the children, was it, Mr. Barnes? Benny continued. It wasn't you that found the abandoned steel warehouse turn the whole office into cell, or set up the filming equipment that the police found inside. As your statement insists, you had an accomplice, a leader, in fact, the brains of operations, Carlos Montero. A smile started to inch its way across Hunter's face. This was it. This was the moment when the jury would start to see Montero for what he really was. The moment when all the legal bullshit would stop and the truth would come out. Bones took a deep breath, then stared states at Montero as he answered through gritted teeth. I don't know nothing about no accomplice. Mr. Montero didn't have anything to do with it. A shocked intake of breath swept around the room as Hunter's smile moved into a grimace of disbelief. What the fuck was this? Vidit froze in his tracks as the color drained from his face and the confidence drained from his demeanor. His mouth hung open like that of the gulping fish, and it took him a few steps and seconds to remember to claim it shut, and a few seconds more to realize that he'd better move faster to undo the damage. Mr. Bones, may I remind you that you are on Earth and that your deal with the state of California requires you to regale this court with an open and honest account of Mr. Montero involvement in this case. You find yourself in a very precarious position. Take your time. Think it through before you answer. Think about everything you stand to lose. Now I ask you again. Was Carlos Montero accomplice? No, sir. I done it all on my own. I was trying to make films just like Mr. Montero. I wanted to be a big short movie guy, just like him. Those kids, I'm truly sorry about them, but Mr. Montero had nothing to do. But I got a family too. Bones looked straight at the accused as he spoke. Hunter felt sick with rage. The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his walnut gravel and called for order. As soon as the crowd had quieted down, Rebecca Finch was smartly out of her seat. May I approach? Your Honor. A nod of acquiescence was swiftly forthcoming. Finch covered the distance to the bench in 4 athletic strides, with Vidic following dejectedly in her wake. If that's all the witness had to say, then these proceedings are over, Your Honor. Without his testimony, the case against my client is circumstantial at best. The judge stared down from on high at the lead prosecutor. Miss Finch had a valid point. I warned you about being over-reliant on your case witness during pre-trial. Mr. Vidic, without him, your case is dead in the water. What have you got to say? I don't know what happened here. I don't know what happened here, Your Honor. Just give me a little time to speak to my witness. I'm sure I'm getting this all straightened out. As it's Friday, I'll give you until fasting Monday morning. But if it's turned out that Mr. Bones has decided to retract his original statement, I'll have no option but to throw this case out of the court. My time is precious. I can't afford to waste it on pointless prosecution. The two attorneys turned away as the judge backed on his gravel. The court is in recess until 9 a.m. Monday. Pandemonium broke out as people started to discuss the events they just witnessed. Some leaped to their feet to hurl abuse at Montero, the lawyers, and even the judge, but Hunter stayed right where he was, a feeling of disbelief washing over him. He bowed his head, closed his eyes, and dug his fingers deep into his temple. This could be happening, and that marks the end of chapter 2, Justice for All by Stephen Hague.